Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, August the 21st, 2023. Monday, August the 21st. Well, Sunny tells Betty, because Betty shows up for work in the hall. Betty's talking to Mason. She goes, I don't know why I still got to do this nanny crap, pretty much. I got you the information we need. And he's like, no, you need to stay in place for right now. So the guard comes out the door and she smiles at him, or she pretends that she's talking to a friend about a dry cleaners that messed up her clothes. So she comes in and she goes, hi, Mr. Corinthos, I'm here to pick up Avery. And he goes, you're not going anywhere near Avery. And I thought, ooh, over already? And she's like, what? So of course we have a breakaway, and then he comes back. You're not going anywhere near Avery because Avery is sick, and I don't want you to catch what she has. Oh, well, that's very thoughtful of you, Mr. Corinthos. She says, okay, so whenever you need me, call me. And he says, I will definitely do that. And he goes, by the way, Betty, he peels out some money, gives her some money for your trouble. So she goes, why, thank you, Mr. Corinthos. And he looks at her, he goes, bye, Betty. And the look on his face, see, Betty had already turned, but I mean, the back of her head should have been hurting because the way Sonny was looking at her, man, Sonny is back. Okay, Sonny is back. After she goes out, he says, Dex. Dex comes from around the corner. He goes, go. Right away, boss. So Dex leaves, right? And Sonny is just looking like, I'm going to have to kill that nanny, or I'm going to have to have that nanny killed. Look, the old Sonny Corinthos is back. And I love it. I love it. Sonny needs to be back. And he needs to mop up everything in Port Charles. Selena Wu's one of them too. Mop that chick up, right? But he's like systematically, he's by himself. He don't have Jason. He's systematically knocking things out, slowly but surely. Oh man, I had to get a picture of that because that scared me. It really did, man. So now we have Drew makes a collect call to Carly. She's so happy to hear from him. He got out of solitaire and he asked her to come see him later that day. And so she goes, oh, I'm so happy you got out early. And he's like, wait a minute, early? How did you know how long I was supposed to be in there? So then she came clean. She said, Sonny arranged for you to get out. And he goes, oh, okay, yeah. Sonny said he would look after me while I'm in here. It didn't bother Drew not one bit. He's like, Sonny said he'd look after me while I'm in here. Good. Can you come see me? you know. And so anyway, she goes, what did you get locked up into solitaire for? And he goes, helping another inmate. He was being, beat up by or picked on by another inmate. She goes, Drew, you can't save the world. And she goes, who was this inmate? He could have told her, prisoner 7658023. Carly, what's it to you? An inmate is an inmate. A prisoner is a prisoner. Could have said prisoner Booker Hill. I mean, she wouldn't know him. But of course, she just happened to know Cyrus Renault. Cyrus Renault. He goes, Carly, look, I did what I had to do. I don't have a lot of time on this phone call. I'd rather talk about you. How you been? Oh, he's like, we ain't going there, girl. And sure enough, within 2 minutes, his time was up. So he goes into the library and Cyrus is there And of course, Cyrus is saying, "So you're out of solitaire?" Whew, oh, wow, I had to yawn, y'all. I'm a little tired. So he's out of solitaire, and Drew's like, "Yep," and he goes, "Good," and he goes, "You're looking awfully well." He's looking at Cyrus, and he goes, "I am. Thank you very much, and I owe it to you." And so Cyrus stands up, and he's talking a little ominous to me. He was saying, he goes, "I am indebted to you. I am forever in your debt." And Drew's like, no, no, there's no debts here. I did what I had to do. He's like, no, no, no. And Cyrus is like, yes, and I'm going to repay my debt. Or he said, or you're going to get what's coming. Something weird, kind of, he said something to Drew, and I can't think of it 100%, and I didn't write it down. He said something to Drew to me that could have had a double meaning. Did anybody else feel that way? It could have had a double meaning, what Cyrus said to Drew. And if you can remember what he said to Drew, can you put that in comment corner? Because I thought, well, that don't sound too good. It's almost like Cyrus has a little beef to handle, a little something to repay Drew on, right? I don't know. We're going to see. We're going to see what happens with that, y'all. So then we have Diane. Earlier, Diane and Robert were waiting for a judge on the case, and the judge was running way late. And so Robert ended up asking her, how did she like the car show? And she's explaining the cars and the pristine, this, that, and the other. And he goes, did Alexis enjoy it? And she goes, Alexis? She goes, no, Alexis couldn't go. She asked Chris, whoever Chris was. And she enjoyed it. He goes, she goes, Chris enjoyed it. And Robert's like, oh, okay. Now, the way Diane was describing all the cars, that could have been any car show. Could have been last year's car show. she didn't say, and let me tell you, Hyundai has the best electric car. You should have seen it. They won the award at the car show last night. See, that's telling you you've been there. But here's the thing. She had actual tickets, so I do believe she went. But it was just funny. Robert was kind of jealous, like she had so much fun without him. And Chris could have been a guy, right? And then Robert got a phone call. Somebody told him about Anna's house burning. Maybe Dante told him about Anna's house being burnt down. So he beelined over to the Metro Court where she's staying, and went to go talk to her. But Diane ends up going over to Carly's house, and Carly's like, oh no, what's wrong? And Diane's like, what do you mean what's wrong? You always, she goes, the only reason you would come here is to give me some bad news. She said, Carly, I don't only give you bad news. So Carly says, but the majority of the time, yes, you do. It's your job. So Diane was like, yeah, touche. Yeah, but no bad news today. So she goes, okay, well, what brings you here? And she's giving her a cup of coffee. And Diane is like, I don't know if I should burden you with this. And Carly could tell it was something. She goes, okay, all right, you're my attorney, but you're also my friend. And it seems like you need to talk. You could talk to me. So they go sit at the table before they, Diane takes the cup and she looks at Carly. She goes, you're going to charge me for this, right? And Carly says, yeah, you betcha. Yeah. Look, Carly's saying this is going to offset. See, the next time you want to charge me, we're clean slate, girl. We are clean slate for that, my next visit that I need you on. Because look, Carly got an ongoing thing. So anyway, they sit down and they have a talk, and she tells Carly about Robert and the mixed signals, and she just wished that Robert would make his intentions more known if he's truly interested in her. She goes, Carly, it's been a long time since me and Max were together, and I'm rusty at this. And so Carly said, look, let me tell you something, Diane. If Robert Scorpio can't see what he has right in front of him, you are like phenomenal. Then he don't deserve you. And Diane said, well, that isn't quite what I wanted to hear. I mean, because Cardi's pretty much said, look, let him kick rocks. You know, you better than that. He should automatically know that, right? You know, Diane wanted to hear more, you know, if you really like him, stick with it, you know, make your intentions known, make your move, Diane. Cardi didn't say that at all. And good, Diane doesn't chase anybody. And don't chase Robert. Don't chase Robert. Because see, any ex-wife with the crisis, he's down for the count. Which inevitably, if you ever marry him and you become another ex-wife, he'll be down for your count too. So, I mean, goodness, good or bad, right? That could be good, that could be bad. Okay. So anyway, they have that conversation. And then once he gets to Anna's, they hug. And he's like, Robert, this is Robert going to Anna's. He's like, I just heard. I'm happy you're okay. You know, do you need me for anything? She's like, I'm on my way to the lawyers. You know, the insurance information is up in the cloud. She says, but it was all the personal memories that I've just lost everything, Robert. She goes, little Noah made me the cutest little thing out of driftwood. That's gone. Emma, so many things that Emma has given me, my pictures, you know, gone. She's like, clothes are clothes. And really, she's like, a house is a house. It'll be, but my personal things, they can never be replaced. So they hugged, and she said, you know, she's got to find out who's doing this to her. You know, were they sending a message? She goes, I believe they were sending a message more than trying to hurt me. Right. And so she goes, I have to figure out who I could trust. Because look, earlier when she got up, Valentine was gone. Every time she looked up, he got to go somewhere. He's sneaking off somewhere. Unlike Valentine. Well, he used to sneak around, but not boom, you wake up, I'm not there, to try to get a little peace in the morning. I mean, Valentine was always down for that count. Now he gone. But see, what happened is while he was gone, he left his briefcase. She took a paper clip, jimmied the lock, and got in and was looking through his stuff. And one of the envelopes she put out on the side of the briefcase. And she saw on the envelope where the address goes, it said Pikeman. She's like, I'm starting to see he has way too much Pikeman stuff, right? They wasn't with not ELQ stuff, Pikeman stuff. So she could hear him coming. So she throws whatever she had in her hand, she throws it in the suitcase and puts the lid down, I mean the briefcase, and puts the lid down. And I thought, wait a minute, you had an envelope that you put to the side. Sure enough, she locked everything real quick, put the briefcase back on the chair, and sure, and there was that envelope she left. So when he came in, she's standing there looking coy, like she got caught with her hands in the cookie jar. And he goes, what are you doing? She goes, I can't seem to find my phone. And so he looks right there on the nightstand where she got up from. He goes, you mean that phone right there? She says, yeah, I woke up a little disoriented. You know, I'm not in my house. He goes, yeah, it's understandable. But he notices, he glances and he notices, okay, there's that envelope. There's an envelope on the desk. I know I didn't leave it there. He goes, oh, she been snooping. So she goes, I got to get dressed and go to the insurance, meet the insurance company, meet with the insurance company. So she grabs her bags from where she picked up some clothes yesterday and goes into the shower, and he goes to the envelope. And he picks it up and he kind of looks like, snooping. That's what I get for being with a spy, right? She gonna spy things out, okay? She gonna Jimmy a lot. Come on now. Give her a paper clip and she gone. So anyway, she comes out the shower and she goes, Valentine, do you have a knife that we could cut this tag off? And no Valentine again. No briefcase, no envelope. He leaves her a note. Hey, dinner tonight, question mark, whatever. Just very non-committal. And she wrinkles it up and throws it on the bed. And so then she realizes, wait, let me fold those sheets, you know, pressed it out or tried to smooth it out. I don't know why, she could have threw it in the trash. But now she's wondering, what are you up to, Valentine? You're up to something. Are you the one that burnt she's starting to think, are you the one that burnt down my house? What's happening here? And so then that's when Robert showed up and they were talking. And what she was saying, Robert, the hardest thing is I have to tell Robin about the house. And she said, can you please be with me when I tell her? And he goes, of course, we will tell her together. So they do, like mother and father. And when they get off the phone, Robert's like, she's really worried. And Anna's like, I know. She tried to act like she's not, but I know she's very worried. And he goes, but you know what? Let me tell you something. Our daughter is strong. She is used to us being in danger. All right. Look, Robin is used to her parents being in danger. Robin is used to being kidnapped for years on end. Robin has gone through a lot. Thank goodness she's given Emma the opposite life of what she grew up with. The opposite. Stability. Been with Patrick this whole time, except when she was kidnapped for years. Patrick moved on with Sabrina. But anyway, then Robin come back from the dead. Supposed to been dead. But anyway, maybe a couple times Robin's been kidnapped. Huh. So anyway, the cute part of the episode today was Olivia and Ned. Ooh, look at that woman pack there on Olivia's abs. Go ahead, Olivia. I ain't mad at you, girl. But now mind you, she just came in from running. That is a running outfit. She wasn't dressed like that waiting for Ned to come from upstairs. No. She came running from her jog into the kitchen, and he was sitting at the table trying to eat cold lasagna. And she's like, what? Hey, what are you doing? He's like, I'm eating. She goes, oh no, that is cold. He goes, I like it like this. This is fine. And so she goes, I can make you a frittata. He says, the lasagna tastes good. It's fine. She says, I'm going to tell you right now, there is no way in my presence, like in my kitchen, you going to eat cold lasagna. So he goes, okay, how about this? How about you give me warm lasagna? So he gives her the plate, like you could just zap it for me. And so she looks at him like, yeah, okay. So she brings him his warm plate. And then when we come back, they're sitting there talking, and they're just talking because he was saying he was up late, so I was up late doing whatever he said, like he was at the bar, but then he's like, I forget what he said he was doing up late. So she goes, so did you meet anybody interesting last night? She was roundabout thinking, are you sleeping with somebody? And he goes, when I got home I'd met somebody interested this morning in the kitchen. And she's like, who? She goes, Tracy with a hangover. And she told her about that. And then he said, no, he says, last night it was him and his guitar in the foyer, I think he said. He says the acoustics are great there. And he said he was composing a song. And she goes, you write music? And this is when they're sitting at the table. He's like, "You know, I write music." He goes, "You got to write your own songs because that shows your heart. When you write your own music, you sing your own music." See, that's where Brooklyn got it from. And so he goes, "Hey," he goes, "I have my muse." And she goes, "Muse? What's a muse?" He goes, "Inspiration. My muse was with me last night and I was in the zone, right?" And she goes, "And who's your muse?" She was almost afraid to hear the answer. And he goes, "Do you know Elvis Presley?" And she goes, "The king of rock and roll, Elvis?" Yes. "That's your muse?" He goes, "Yes, it is." Right? And so she's like, "Wow." So he goes, "Would you like to hear the song I composed or the song I'm working on?" And she said, "Yes, I would like to hear the song you're working on." He jumps up from the table to go get his guitar and everything, and her cell phone rings, and it's Monica. They actually recorded. Actually, we heard from Monica. Monica's out of town again. She said she needed a break from Tracy in the house, and she said that she wanted to call to just check on Olivia. She goes, "I want to check on Olivia. How's Ned?" And she goes, "You mean Eddie?" And she goes, "Oh, still?" And that when he said, "You mean Eddie," he was coming in with the guitar. I thought he was gonna eavesdrop or something, then get butt hurt and leave, but no. He goes, "I'm here," because he goes, "Eddie." And he goes, "Yep, I'm here," and shaking up his guitar. So she turns and she's talking to Monica. And Monica said, "But Olivia, are you okay?" And at first, Olivia was going to say no. And then Olivia said, "You know what? Yeah, I am." And something to the effect like, "If things are getting more interesting." See, now she's not acting hysterical. Now she's having conversations with Eddie. And one of the things she goes, "You want Parmesan cheese?" And he goes, "Oh, I can't stand that. Ugh." Right? And she goes, "Ned loves it." He goes, "I'm not Ned." And she goes, "No, and I know you're not." And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Eddie, I'm not Ned. When you took the lasagna out the refrigerator, why'd you take the Parmesan cheese out too? Should have left it in there. Since you hate it, Eddie, you're not Ned. Okay? I would have wanted to pick it off the table and sprinkle some on your lasagna too. You had it there, Eddie, not Ned. But anyway, so she goes, Monica says, "Okay, well, I'm going to let you go, Olivia. I was just checking in on you." She goes, "Thank you, Monica." So she goes over to the table. He's looking over his notes and he starts singing the song, playing. And this is the first time we've heard him truly sing a song in a minute. Okay, in a minute. He sang the song. And do you know, everybody, I sat here saying, I like that song. I like the song better than anything Brooklyn has ever written, right? And it was touching, the song. And Olivia got emotional because it touched her soul, the song. It really said something to her. And look, I was right there with her. I was like, "Oh my God. Wow. Good job, Eddie. Good job." So when it was he stopped and he got a good portion of it, and then he stopped, and I was thinking he needed to go into a hook. He needed a couple hooks in there, right? But anyway, Brooklyn could help him tidy that up. But so anyway, she got like, "Why did you stop?" He said, "Well, that's as far as I got." She says, so she stood up and she's emotional, not boohoo boohoo, but she's about to cry. She goes, "That's a beautiful song and you need to finish it." And she turns and she walks out of the kitchen and she stops and she's there just kind of like crying. but she kind of looked back at him because he's still thinking, yeah, I do need to finish this. And she's now liking Eddie for Eddie. See, and Eddie is actually like, he's gonna fall in love with Olivia. He doesn't dislike her, but the way she was just constantly yelling at him and trying to beat his memory back into his head when it wasn't ready, that's why he revolted against her. So I really, actually, I'm kind of liking the way they are bringing those two together. I really am, everybody. So let's go to comment corner. Comment corner. Tulip said, Sonny's old penthouse. Remember I asked the question, what is supposed to be across from Sam and Dante's penthouse? And it's Sonny's old penthouse. Now, what's interesting is, in essence, I guess Sonny got a different penthouse, because remember Sonny's old penthouse, it used to be the elevator door that opened up. And when you came out the elevator, you could go across, straight across from the elevator was Sonny's penthouse. And then to the right of Sonny's penthouse, kind of around the hall, was Jason's penthouse. So, and if I can remember correctly, Sonny's old penthouse was 2-story, just like Jason's penthouse. I think they both were 2-story. So this must be in a new building. But it was almost like, remember everybody, at Christmas time when Dante and Sam went to Sonny and Sonny's house first. Nina was there. And then they were going to the Quartermaines, right? I could swear they went out her door and walked down the hall and went to Sonny's door. I could swear that's what they was a real quick trip for them. But anyway, we'll see. Sonny may have remodeled, because he probably ended up buying the building. He may have remodeled so that it's more secure. He could put his guards there. I don't know. But anyway, you're right. Sonny's old penthouse. N.K. Rose says, while Christina would have been annoying, Molly and TJ could have pulled her aside days before the party and told her their plans. Want to know why I disagree with you, N.K. Rose? Then bottom line, everybody else would have known. Christina cannot hold water. Soon as Molly and TJ would have told her, she would have called Sam. She would have burst in on their mama. She would have everybody would have known. And now Molly could not have told her the good news. Unfortunately, Christina should have, the best way to contain news is to tell Christina last, separately. But see, Christina should have already been invited. Maybe the dinner was earlier, but she should have had some drinks ready or appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, for Christina to come over a little bit later, so that everybody would have been told on the same night. And she could have told her sister. I would have done it that way. And then N.K. Rose says, Sonny's penthouse is across the hall, or it used to be. I know, it's like, or it used to be. N.K. Rose says, Charlotte's life would have been more stable if she lived with Lulu and Dante back in the day. I know, huh? Well, although, look, Lulu's been in a coma for how long? But that wasn't Lulu's fault. User NZ8 says, Sonny's penthouse is next to Sam's penthouse. DB says, that darn Valentine. I thought it was him who lit Anna's house up. He must be under a threat, because he does love Anna, but last place he wants is to find himself on the wrong side of her again. I know, she'll be after him. Richard says, another great review, daily recap lady. Sonny's penthouse is supposed to be across the hall from Sam's. Yep. Cindy says Molly and Christina are like two spoiled brats. This is their normal conduct. It is. They're like oil and water. I can't believe Alexis told Jordan she thinks Molly is mature. Kathy says Sonny is across the hall from Sam. Cindy says, I understand why Gregory didn't want to tell his family. He wanted the relationship with them that wasn't based on his disease. And he got that relationship. Now I'm glad he told them so they can handle it together as a family. Finn being a doctor is a big plus. Ron says Sonny and Carly will slowly get back together when Sonny cleans up everything better. What? Then the police? She will go back to him. Amber says, I love Carly and Sonny back together again too, but I don't think it will happen for a while. After Sonny finds out about Nina and breaks up with her, I wouldn't mind to see Sonny stay single for a while so that he won't jump into a relationship and make a mess of it again. What I really want is for Michael and Sonny to reconnect back to a father and son relationship. Anne says Jason bought the apartment across the hall from Sonny. Sabrina says, hi, Daily Recap Lady. Regarding Gregory, one of the other channels did research and said that Lyme disease acts like the disease he's been diagnosed with. So I hope in this case, we can end this storyline. Yeah, I hope they could just say misdiagnosis. Finn will find that out. Regarding Anna, I feel so sorry for her. I don't like Valentine, but I don't want to see her hurt either. Lastly, Sonny's original penthouse was next door to Jason, now Sam's penthouse. And then PE says Goombas. And that was what I said. What word did somebody use? Oh, that's when Eddie said that Sonny's place had too much Goombas, whatever that is. Lisa says Anna's playing it cool with what she knows about Valentine's lies. I think Valentine is over it, the upper management and pikemen. Well, he's definitely more involved than he's telling Sonny. He's not just no messenger. And today, the phone call he got, he says, I told you we couldn't rush Sonny. And now, things are all kind of out of sorts. So he's not the decision maker. He is not pikeman, but he is definitely in deeper than he's letting Sonny know, and definitely Anna. And Lisa says, I really feel if Christina carried the baby for Molly, it would be all the crap of Christina, Christina comes with it. Well, all of her crap would come with that. Christina acting so selfish right now. She wants to carry the baby to hold it over Molly for the rest of her life, and to tell the baby that she carried him or her to term. I know that she was the surrogate, right? And it says that technically she is the baby's mother. Christina would do that. Absolutely, she would. LaShanta said Sonny's penthouse. And then Lisa says Tracy could tell Eddie she will never give up on Ned. Eddie said there are too many Goombas at Sonny's. Yep. Lucy said, I love Eddie Main. He doesn't want to stay at Sonny Corinthos. He told Tracy too many Goombas. I'm glad everybody got that because I sure missed it. And Linda says, remember, Marshall was misdiagnosed, so Gregory will have been misdiagnosed too. Sonny still loves his baby Carly, and no one can miss that. Lisa says, it is obvious he still loves Carly. He can't stand that she doesn't need him. He really needs for her to need him. She will accept his help. He just really needs her to need him, and she figured that out. So like she said, so now you gave me a favor that I cannot refuse, that you knew I wouldn't refuse, right? And Lisa also says, all we have seen with Ferncliff staff wise is a couple of nurses and that freaky doctor that enjoys drugging his patients. And that doctor is not on staff at Ferncliff. He really shouldn't be in there like that. He should have been turning the notes over to the Ferncliff staff, right? And then Lisa says that hopefully should happen when Gladys gets caught spending all of Sasha's money. Scanona Full says, is Sonny's penthouse across the hall from Sam's penthouse? It used to originally be, unless he somewhere along the line he sold it and bought a different one. Linda says, yes, the old one where Sonny and Carly lived. Yep, that was across from Sam. So anyway, that's it for Comment Corner. I got through all of those comments. I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.